guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. I can't believe it's that time again, but it's time to do my monthly budget. Every single month here on my channel I try and do these monthly budget videos where I go through all of my income, my outgoings and my expenses, anything that I'm saving towards, any money I want to spend throughout the month, and then also any money that I invest. I'm completely transparent about exactly how much money I make, how much every single one of my bills, from my mortgage payments to my childcare costs to basically anything that comes out of my bank accounts. It is going to be in this video. And the spreadsheet that I'm going to use in this video is also up for sale on Etsy, so if you wanted to download it, you can use the link down in my description box and you can download the exact same spreadsheet that I use here. It's so nice to have something that you just put your figures into and then it figures out everything for you. And I find that having a budget spreadsheet actually keeps me on track with my spending, rather than just getting to the end of the month and having nothing left and wondering where the hell it's all gone. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first up, a bit of background. I am self-employed at the moment and I pay myself in a mixture of salary and dividends. I have a limited company that I pay corporation tax through, and then I also pay personal tax through the dividend payments that I give myself. So my tax looks a little bit different to just if you were employed and you'd pay 20% tax plus national insurance. Mine's slightly different, but I do also pay corporation tax, which isn't within this. I'm also not including any pension contributions that I make through my business account because this is just my personal stuff. So again, that is just something to bear in mind as we're going through this. Anyway, here is the spreadsheet, and this is how much I am going to give myself in salary this month. We're looking at £758.33. It's going to look different as the months go on. So when the tax year changes, so after April, I'm going to start giving myself £1,047.50, because that, if I give myself that for 12 months, it would be just under the personal allowance that you are able to get in salary without paying tax. So that is exactly why I give myself up to the personal allowance in salary, and then I top myself up in dividends, and that just depends on how well I do that month. If I make a lot of money, then I could give myself more. If I don't make as much money, then I don't give myself that much. And this does vary a little bit, but generally we're looking about between 2,500 take home and 3,000 roughly. This month, however, I'm able to give myself 2,700 in dividends. And then we also get child benefit, which is £170.20 for my 2 children. And then that comes straight out, going straight into their child ISA. So they've got individual savings accounts, which are stocks and shares ISA, that we put their child benefit money. As long as we carry on receiving child benefit, as long as we both earn under £60,000, me and my husband, we'll be able to claim child benefit, and therefore we're lucky enough that we don't need that money right now to survive. So we are putting that money into a child ISA for both of the kids, and so that comes straight back out. I thought I would just put that in there to illustrate it. And then also my tax is at £270 because it's 10% of what I get in dividends, not forgetting that the salary is tax-free because it's within the personal allowance. With all that in mind, I know that £270 doesn't sound like a lot of tax, but my company also pays corporation tax, so I sort of get taxed twice for the money that I earn. So it does kind of even out. I think it is slightly better than if I were on the same amount of money and employed and earning this through a salary, but it's just the system that we're working with. So in total this month, I've actually got more than I've had in a long time, which is £3,188.33, which is more than I had last month, and then significantly more than I had in January. Moving down to expenses, these are my living costs and all the bills that come out of our joint account. And me and my husband go 50-50 with everything, and the bills pretty much stay fairly constant. There are obviously changes throughout every single month, depending on, various things, but the half of the mortgage that I pay is £626, that's always the same. We then also overpay each by £100. Our food and groceries and things like that, we allocate £200 each towards. However, that does not include things like toilet roll, kitchen roll, things like Calpol. Lots of those things we actually get on Amazon Subscribe and Save. So we save some money by doing that, which you'll see at the bottom of the list somewhere, but we do allocate some money for that. But our food shop tends to stay within the budget of about £80 to £90 a week, probably more at the beginning of the month because we bulk buy a lot of meats and things and then freeze them, and then we just tend to like meal plan around what we've already got in the cupboards, shop in our cupboards, that kind of thing. I get a lot of questions as to how we stay within like £100 a week for a family of 4. It is doable, you just have to like plan it pretty meticulously. Our water bill last month was a stonking £114, hence my contribution last month was £57. However, this month it is going back down to £33 each, so 66 I believe, because we had a leak basically. Our toilet was constantly running and therefore we were paying a ridiculous amount for water, but I think we're getting a rebate for that, so fingers crossed that goes through. Gas and electric usually is £100. We put in £100 every single month each, so £200 in total for both gas and electric. Even on the months where we're not using that much electric or gas, it's nice to top it up so that when it comes to the winter months, you know, we've got that in the bag. However, we're getting past the winter months now. We're obviously in March now, spring is on the way, and we've got a surplus in our account, so we're lowering our contributions to that by £50 each. And so yeah, we've got like I think £300 in the account at the moment that we haven't used throughout the winter, and so we're lowering our contributions to it until that kind of evens out. Home insurance is £16.50, life insurance is £14, internet we have literally just changed, so that is £15 each. TV licence, £7.50 each. Council tax, £83 each. And then childcare, we split it by each child because we have to send it into the tax-free childcare account, which is like the government account where they top up some of your childcare costs. So we contribute £130 each for my son because our contribution in total is £260. The government then top it up by 20% of what we contribute, and then we can send it to the nursery to pay the actual total of the bill. And then for my daughter, it's £155 each. Last month it was all over the place because we'd accidentally put too much into my son's account and not enough into my daughter's account. It evened itself out. We paid less into my son's account, more into my daughter's account, and now it's back to normal. Honestly, the funding that we've got for the kids now has changed everything. I remember at one point when we were paying for George, just my son, to go into nursery before he had any funding, with the tax-free childcare to go in full-time when I was working in an office, we were paying like £1,200 for him to go to nursery Monday to Thursday. It was wild. Whereas now his bill is about £300, £350, something like that. And we've got some subscriptions like Office 365, which is £4 each, Spotify, which is £8.50 each, Ring Doorbell, which is £2.50 each, swimming lessons for my son, which is £28 each a month, and then tumble tots for my daughter is £27 each. There was like a sign-up fee when we signed up last time. We haven't got any payments for a holiday left, so that's going to stay blank. And then our Amazon subscribe and save that I mentioned already is £15 each, so we contribute about £30 in total towards Amazon subscribe and saves, so that we've got the money in the account when the Amazon purchases come through. We get anything household related that is cheaper on Amazon subscribe and save, we'll get it from there. So toilet rolls in bulk, kitchen rolls in bulk, I'll get my washing powder for the washing machine in bulk from there, and then they come through every like 3 months or 4 months or whatever. And so yeah, we just put in £15 each a month so that there's a rolling amount of money in the account for when those purchases come through. And then in the long run, it works out so much cheaper than buying smaller ones, like smaller products at the weekly food shop. And that is another reason why our weekly food shop can stay under that £100 mark. On the weeks that we have a 5-week month, it does get a little bit tighter, but it is still doable. And a couple more that I haven't had before is Holland & Barrett subscribe and save, and that is for the kids' vitamins. So they have like magnesium, multivitamins, things like that. And then Netflix, we've actually never paid for our own Netflix before. We've always been piggybacking off of my mum's account, but it was time to get our own account because you shouldn't really do that, and it kept logging each other out and stuff like that. So we just said, right, we'll get our own account because we're grown up, so we should probably do that. And we didn't realise that it was only going to be £3 each, because you can get the lowest tier of Netflix. You have like a little advert every couple of episodes or something, and it's literally like a 20-second advert, and it's £6 a month or $5.99, so £3 each going into the joint account. Perfect. So the total amount going into the joint account this month is £1,528. Scrolling down to personal expenses, these are just direct debits that come out of my personal current account. And I only have two. My car tax, which is about £17 or £16 something, but I just always try and round it up a little bit. And then my gym classes, which is £38 a month. Grand total of £55 in that, so I just have to keep £55 in my current account, and then I'm sorted. The rest of my money I transfer out of my current account and I put them into a Monzo account. So for my spending money, I have different pots of money allocated, and this is how I spend my money. I don't spend any other money other than the money in these pots, and that's how I like to budget my money. That's how I keep on track with it, and that's how I'm really accountable with myself for not overspending on like card taps with random purchases, like when you're out just getting a coffee or a biscuit or a whatever it might be. If you're at soft play getting loads of pom bears at the till and they're like £3 a packet, I'm really like aware of how much I'm spending because it's coming out of these little individual pots that I have on my Monzo account, and that, I swear, has been the best way I have stayed on top of like my spending. So this month I'm gonna do £150 for petrol. That is how much I would roughly spend in a month on petrol without any like special trips or anything like that. Obviously if we were driving somewhere different or whatever, then that would probably be more, but that's just your average month for me. Home improvements, that can include anything I buy for the house. So if that is literally like some organizer thing for the cupboards, that will come out of there. Home improvements can also be painting the hallway. Home improvements could also be like literally anything that I buy for the house. Like, so basically that's just home stuff. £50 budget, I definitely don't always spend that. And I have got a little bit of money in that pot already that's kind of rolling over for a couple of jobs that we want to do in the house just before we put it on the market and things like that, which is something we would like to do at some point, but we just haven't got around to it. Parking, I'm gonna put £15 for parking this month because I know that we are going to a train station and parking there, and that will cost at least £10. So I'm putting £15 for parking. Public transport, I'm gonna do £50 for that this month because I know that we are planning a trip into London, which is gonna cost at least 35 quid to just get into London. And then you've obviously got traveling around, like either tubes or buses or whatever it might be. So I'm gonna put £50 for public transport. Days out with the kids, I'm gonna put £50 this month because I had some money left over in that pot from last month when I allocated £75. Days out, for me, anything that I spend on a time when I'm out with the kids, so like I said, those pom bears at soft play entry, anything, any money really that I spend when I'm out with the kids kind of comes out of this pot. And I don't really do like extravagant days out with the kids really. We tend to do quite free or affordable days out, and it works really, really well for us. And especially now that it's getting brighter outside, I can't wait to get to some national parks and just go outside and let them run loose in a park or something and not be freezing to death. Clothes, I'm gonna allocate £25 towards. I'm actually thinking I'm gonna use some of this budget for when George starts school because he's gonna need uniforms, he's gonna need loads of stuff, and I just think it's a really good way to just save up for it rather than it being this massive expense come September. So this kind of will be kind of that budget as well as like any other clothes they might need, you know, coming up to summer and be going away in the summer and things like that. So this is kind of that rolling pot. I don't spend £25 a month every month on clothes, and so yeah, I'm trying to build up a little pot of money so when I do need to get the kids clothes, there's some money there. I do also have a very healthy Vinted balance at the moment, which is perfect. Eating out and takeaways, £30 on that will do me. And then hair, I'm not actually going to allocate any money to hair because I've already got some money in that pot already because I didn't get my hair done last month. That's just there for when I do. I haven't even got an appointment booked or anything. I'm trying to think when I'll get it done, but I've got the money there for when I want to treat myself. Nails, I'm going to allocate I think £20 towards nails because I've got some money in my nails pot already, but I'd like to get a pedicure and a manicure for when I go away. At one point we're going on a weekend away for my friend's hen do, which is just below. I'm going to allocate £50 for that. Again, I've got some money in the hen do pot already, and I'm just kind of carrying that over, allocating another £50 so we can have an amazing weekend when we get there. We're doing a Butlins weekender, so I'm sure that's going to be fun. Date nights, I'm actually going to put £100 in date nights because it is Ash's birthday this month, at the end of the month, and I've got some fun things planned for us. I would really like to be able to like actually pay for the whole lot. I've already booked tickets for something. I need to book the restaurant. I need to book a hotel as well, and that's when we're going into London. So £100 won't cover it, but that will probably, hopefully, cover the majority of like a really nice dinner. Beauty subscriptions is always £30, so in total that's £570, which is a lot, but yeah, like there's some exciting things happening this month, like the hen do and Ash's birthday and stuff, so yeah, I'm happy with that amount, to be fair. And then going down to savings, we've got things like emergency fund, car maintenance, car insurance, birthdays, holidays, and Christmas. And these are all basically things that I'm gonna have to spend money on at some point anyway. And again, I might as well just save up for those things rather than it being a big burden when those things come around. So birthdays, like I said, Ash's birthday is this month. I've got some money in that account from where I've contributed towards it before. These are also savings pots on Monzo, by the way. So the ones that I mentioned before, the spending pots, these are pots on Monzo that I can access whenever I want. I don't earn any interest on them. They're just like literally separated pots on this account. And then savings accounts on Monzo, savings pots on Monzo is exactly the same, but you earn interest on these pots. And so some of them you can't access straight away. You have to wait like a day to access it. So you're asked to withdraw the money and then it comes out the following day or whatever. So it's slightly more of like, you can't just access that money straight away, so it's a bit more like of a barrier, I guess, to actually spending that money. Anyway, emergency fund wise, I'm putting £50 in. I try and do that every month just to make sure that I'm, you know, I'm building up a pot of money should I need any money for any kind of emergency, anything that happens in the house. I need, you know, to just take out £300 to get my boiler fixed or whatever it is. It's there, it's ready to go. Car maintenance fund, I am actually getting my MOT done this month in a couple of days' time. So that is for MOT service. Obviously, if you get a burst tyre or whatever, that's all there, that's ready to go. Car insurance, again, £30 a month, I contribute towards that. And then obviously when it comes around to actually paying my car insurance, I do it in a one-er and then I don't have to think about it. It works out cheaper than doing it monthly as well. Birthdays, this month, I'm gonna put £50 in because I've already got my £100 for the food. I think actually no, I'm gonna have to put 100 maybe. Yeah, 100 will probably be okay. That should see us tide us over, hopefully. Holidays, I'm just gonna put £30 in because we've got a holiday booked, we've paid it off, but there's always expenses, isn't there? Things like holiday clothes, anything you might need to buy for holiday, I think maybe even the parking at the airport, and also spending money for when we're there. Even though it's all inclusive, you always spend money, don't you? And then for Christmas, I'm gonna go for £100 this month, like I'm trying to do every month. If I'm in a position to do it, I will carry on doing that because when I did that last year, it honestly made December so stress-free financially, and I was able to get presents for everyone I loved. I could get all the food without any issues. Like we hosted and had everyone over and stuff, and we could do loads of like activities with the kids and loads of Christmassy things without it being stressful. It's obviously more expensive than your average month, and so we could go and see friends, we could go out for drinks, we could do all the things that you want to do over Christmas, but normally it's really financially like crippling, let's face it, to do those things. And so if I'm saving £100 a month until December, then it won't be, because I'll have that money that I've saved up throughout the year to get us through. And yeah, it was the best thing I ever did, so I'm definitely going to do that again. So that's £340 savings this month, which to be fair is more than I thought I would be able to save this month, so I'm happy with that. Then moving down to investments, I treat these investments, this is a stocks and shares ISA that I have. I was saving towards things like my moving fund, like new car fund, and a trip to Japan in 2030. I actually did used to have these in my savings pots on Monzo. I decided then, based on loads of people's feedback, I decided to move those to investments because they're much longer term plans and I could be earning a lot more interest than I was on Monzo. Look, it's still a gamble and it's still, you never really know what the stock market's going to do, but it's something that I wanted to do in order to try and get that better return. And so for my moving fund, I am going to put in £100, or maybe actually £200. And so for my moving fund, I'm going to do £200 this month. New car, I'm going to put £50. And then Japan, I'm also going to put £50. So that is a grand total of £300, which is what I'm going to transfer into my stocks and shares ISA. And then when it comes to withdrawing that money, I know roughly how much I have allocated towards each individual thing. I've got a running tally here at the bottom. So as at February 2025, so this time last month, I had almost £6,500 towards moving. I had £344 towards a new car and £403 towards the Japan fund. That meant I had invested a grand total of £7,234, but that doesn't include any interest that I may have accrued. It also doesn't include any losses that I may have made. I mean, I haven't made any losses yet, but you don't know, because it just depends on when you want to withdraw this money. That is why, to be honest, a stocks and shares ISA is probably not, it's not meant for this purpose. A stocks and shares ISA is definitely a much longer term investment. Most of these are 5-year sort of goals. And so I took the calculated decision that that's what I wanted to do. However, like I say, it's not necessarily what you're supposed to do. I also have a private pension, which I mentioned at the beginning, that goes through my business account, and that is like my real long-term savings goals. And if you have a pension with your employer, or if you have a private pension, I guarantee you're not paying enough into it to have a comfortable retirement when you're older. You can go online and do these pension calculators, and honestly, it's astonishing how little, I didn't know anything really about pensions and how it worked, and how much money I would actually need in my pension to live comfortably when I'm retired. And now I know like how much roughly I'd like to have when I'm retired. Like when I hopefully don't have a mortgage payment, don't have childcare bills, all that stuff. I'd quite like to have, you know, £25,000 a year to live really comfortably on as a pensioner. I was nowhere near achieving that, like at the rate I was contributing. So I've upped my contributions, and like I say, that goes out of my business. But if I was just employed and I was just earning salary, I would definitely look at increasing my pension contributions. And so if you're like in a workplace pension, for example, your workplace might even up their contributions if you up yours. It depends on like what scheme you're on or whatever. But yeah, basically like 90% of us aren't contributing enough into our pensions, which is, yeah, it's a long term goal, I know, but it's definitely going to be worth it if I actually continue to do it and can stick to it. And then after all of that taken into account, from my £3,188, I'm left with just under £400 at the end of this month, which is healthy. Like I definitely feel like I'm making progress here, because I had really high expenses at the beginning of the year with debt and paying off the kitchen and paying off several holidays. We actually cancelled a holiday because of how expensive like life was getting. We were just doing this thing where we were just constantly, because we had money, we were like, right, we can book a thing, we can do this, we can get the kitchen done, we can do, and it was just going up and up and up, and our expenses were going up and up and up, and we didn't have any extra money, we just had more, we just wanted more stuff, and it was just getting to the point where we were like, right, no, let's just step back. Just because it's there doesn't mean you use it, because when you use your money is when all of the stress comes back, right, about not having money, because you've spent it all. And I'd much rather be in this position where I'm not getting all the things and like going on loads of holidays and getting our new kitchen and doing this all the time, and actually have money left over in the bank to have a bit of breathing space. And I know that's a absolute luxury at this point in time, especially with the cost of living and how, you know, wages are stagnated and everything. I totally get it, but I was not doing myself, like I was not helping myself at all, because I'm earning more money than I've ever earned right now. And I know that it could end tomorrow, because it's literally just based on the fact that I'm talking to a camera, and like I don't have a stable job in any sense of the word. And so I'm really keen on like, actually no, I'm squirreling this money away, I'm putting it away for a rainy day, I'm trying to contribute towards my pension, you know, I'm trying to do these sensible things, because this all could just disappear in a puff of smoke, frankly. So yeah, that's kind of my mentality at the moment, rather than just like getting all taken away with like the ideas of having like, you know, luxuries like holidays and things like that. I'm trying to like come back down to earth and realise, no, just calm down and be happy with what you've got, which I obviously am, and just like have a bit of a reality check. So that's kind of where I'm at. I have also officially asked my work, my employer, I'm currently on a year off, like extended special unpaid leave they call it, and I'm currently on a year off from work, sort of like a sabbatical, I guess, after my maternity leave ended. I've asked if I can extend that to carry on doing this, basically to carry on being self-employed for a little while, and I've officially asked that question. Whether they come back and say yes or no, that is another point, but as things stand, I am technically supposed to go back to work in September, and at that point things will change for me. If I do go back to work in September, I will earn back like what I was earning before. My take-home pay was about £2,200 roughly, and to be honest, I don't think I could juggle like childcare responsibilities and trying to run a YouTube channel and a business and things like that, and work almost full-time again. Like, I don't think I could manage all of that, so I think I would take a significant pay cut if I did go back to work at this point. So I'm really hoping that they say yes and I can extend for another year, and then I'll reevaluate come 2026, I think. But that's the plan. I'll see what they say. But yeah, we'll go from there. And if you've stuck to the end of this video, then I was kind of hoping I could ask for your help. I would really like to do one of these budget videos for someone else, anyone else that's maybe struggling a little bit at the moment with budgeting, and it's all just like a bit mind-boggling and it's all over the place, and they would just like a little helping hand in just doing their budget. Anyone that maybe doesn't really know what's coming out, what's coming in, how much debt they've got, all of this kind of stuff, like I would really love to help someone and maybe do a video on it. Obviously it would be completely anonymous and I wouldn't share anyone's name or anything like that, or any like personal details, but I could do a budget exactly like this, and like what I would do with the amount of money that they've got coming in and how I would allocate it for obviously all the bills that you've got or debt or anything like that that you've got going out, and how I would maybe tackle overpaying debt. If you haven't seen, I did do a video on debt repayment as well and how to get out of debt quickly as fast as possible. And then also, if you have any money left over, like how I would allocate it on, you know, all those nice to have things like a little takeaway here and there, or going out with the kids and stuff. Just because you, like, even if you are on a lower income doesn't mean you can't do those things. If anything, like you need to have like fun in life to make it worth living, for God's sake. But I feel like there's just a way of allocating money and sticking to budgets that I just have massively benefited from. So if there's anyone out there that is like me 5 years ago basically, and needs a little bit of a helping hand, then I would absolutely love to do that for you. So leave a comment down below and leave your Instagram handle on that comment, and then I will pick someone from random for the next like budget video on a Wednesday. I will message you and we'll go through like all of your budget and everything, and yeah, it will be a really good video. I think it will be really helpful to people, because my salary is like, if I saw this video 5 years ago and saw this amount of money, and I'd just be like, well, this is not helpful to me because I don't have that amount of money. I've got X amount of debt, I've got this coming out, and I don't have like £3,000 a month. I'm fully aware of that, and I would much rather do a more, you know, realistic version rather than just this like situation that I found myself in right now, because like I said, it probably won't last forever. So yeah, I would love to do like a bit more of a realistic one to actually help someone. Who knows? But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this budget video, and for now I'm gonna love you and leave you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.
You glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby.